People will tell you that building a website is complicated, expensive, and takes forever. They're lying. The truth is, you don't need to hire a developer, you don't need to spend weeks learning to code, and you definitely do not need to spend a lot of money on overpriced website builders. In this tutorial, I'm going to walk you through Why can't I get my words out? In this tutorial, I'm going to walk you through everything step by step. We'll set up your domain, we'll sort out your hosting, and we'll get WordPress set up on that website so you can start building beautiful, professional websites with ease. We're going to be using a page builder called Elementor, which is completely free to use, and you are going to be amazed at how quickly we can build this website. So if you've ever thought, I need a website but haven't a clue where to start, then stick with me in this video. By the end of this 1.5 hour video, you will have your own website up and running for the whole world to see, and you will begin wondering why on earth you didn't start this any sooner. Let's get this website started. Okay, so to kickstart this tutorial off today, we need two things to get our websites live on the internet. The first thing is web hosting, and the second thing is a domain name. Those are the two prerequisites that we need to be able to get a website live on the internet for the whole world to see. So let's go away and sort out our hosting. So I'm going to be using a hosting company called Hostinger. Let's go away and type that in. You can go to hostinger.co.uk, hostinger.com. It will take you to the same website. Now, just a word on Hostinger. Yes, I am affiliated with Hostinger. Yes, I do have a coupon code that will give you an extra 10% off. But I'm not here to shove an affiliate link down your throat. I'm here to tell you guys, no matter what I teach you or anybody else teaches you, just go away and do your own research. Don't just take someone else's advice as gospel. I think that is a really bad way to go about business. I use Hostinger for all of my early stage websites, and I use WPX for my premium. I have been doing that for the past 12 years. I have built hundreds of client websites using Hostinger. They are the fastest, they offer really good customer service, and they offer, in terms of what you get, a huge amount of value. So again, not shoving it down your throat. Go away, do your own research. Just be mindful there's a lot of different companies out there that are ranking high up in speed and everything else, but that's generally because they pay out the highest affiliate rewards to their affiliates. So people end up promoting those products and services saying they're the best instead of the ones that actually are, which I would never do. I do not sell out to affiliates. I literally just promote what it is that I use within my businesses. So if we want to get set up with Hostinger today, you can go away and select the premium or business one. Now, if you have the money, go away and select the business. It does have some benefits. You do get a faster hosting account, and you can also build with e-commerce. So it is more tailored towards e-commerce websites and the websites that are going to need more resources to be able to run at a really fast page loading time. So that is the two options that I would suggest. I'm going to go with premium here today because that is what most people that are watching this video will be using. So I'm going to select that. And then we have the option to choose the length. Now, again, you can use 12. Don't go for 1 month because that doesn't make any sense in terms of pricing and value. Go with 12-month minimum, where you can see that you've got this for £2.79 a month. But after that, it goes up to the normal price of £11.99. Now, just be mindful, the longer you go for, the longer you get that promotional period and the cheaper you get that at a monthly price. So if you was to go for the 4-year one, you get $2.59. You pay $2.59 per month, and it doesn't go up to $11.99 until after 4 years, which is insane. Again, I'm not here to try to pitch you on which one to get. I'm literally just suggesting if you have the money or the upfront costs to go for a longer promotional period, then do it. It's going to save you hundreds of pounds in the long run. If you are short on cash, but you just want to get a website live on the internet today and start playing around with this at the early stages, just go for a 12-month. It's going to cost you £33, and then by the time you popped my coupon code in, which is Ricky, if I can spell it correctly, R-I-C-K-Y, you apply that and it's going to add a further 10 or 50, 10% off. So today you'd only pay £30 for the first year. So you get 1 year of hosting today for just £30. But like I said, if you can afford it, go for the 48. It just makes sense. You'll be spending £111, which is of course more, but it's not going to be going up to the normal price after just 1 year. You're going to get that for 4 years. Doesn't make any sense if you can afford it to go for the 12-month. But go with whichever one you can afford today. Go ahead, select continue. You can complete your purchase of your hosting plan, and then we can go away and get logged into your account. So once you have made your purchase, you can then log into your Hostinger account. So this is the H panel, and from here we can control everything on our hosting account. So there are a few things down the side here which we can control. So we've got stuff like the domains that we own, emails and websites, which are the main ones that you're going to be using and that I'll be introducing you to in this short tutorial. But what you are looking for now, if you purchase the premium, chances are you got a free domain with your account, which means you don't have to go away and purchase a domain name separately. Now, if you do have to go away and purchase that separately, then I just use a company called Namecheap, and you can do the exact same kind of searching that I'm going to show you how to do within Hostinger using Namecheap as well. Namecheap is actually, in my opinion, the more affordable option, but of course, if you're getting it for free with Hostinger, then I'll just show you how to do that with Hostinger. Now, it doesn't matter where you purchase your domain name from, and although this isn't a tutorial showing you, teaching you all about domain names, just know that a domain name is basically the address, so the physical address, like having, if you was to name your house, so that people know where to find you. So what we want to do here is, if you do have that free domain name available for Hostinger, you'll see something around here saying claim your free domain name, and it will take you to a page that looks like this. So we can come along to here, and then we can start typing in the domain name that we are looking to buy. So it will look something similar to this, and you'll see that we can also use AI. So let's say that we are building a sports blog discussing the newest or the most up-to-date scores and news. You know, we could do something like that, and then it's going to generate some domain names that we might want to use. Now, I don't like doing that. I'd much rather just pop in something that I want myself. So you can see they've come up with some ideas there. Another point of another thing to bear in mind is I would always go for a top level domain name, TLD, and that would be something like a .com, a .co.uk, a .net. Don't go with anything other than those. Just keep it more premium if you was to go with a .com. Now, of course, I understand if the domain name that you want, let's say, I don't know, you wanted something that's quite popular. Let's say you're building a travel blog, travelwithme.com, let's say. Random, that just came out at the top of my head. We can see that that isn't available. So it's taken, so it's already registered, and it's going to suggest some different ones down here. Now, again, if there's something that you really want, say you have a brand name or a business and you want that domain name to be your business name, then of course you might have to go for a different type of TLD. So it might be a .chat or a .shop or a .net or something else. So again, if you need to do a little bit more research on what domain name you want, then of course there's going to be a ton of YouTube videos and stuff that's going to show you how to find the best names and everything else. But once you know what domain name you want, you can come along, put that in here, and then complete the purchase of that. Now, like I said, it's going to be free if you've got that with your hosting account. So you don't have to purchase it. If you do not have that, then just go and buy it from Namecheap. It will be cheaper than buying it from Hostinger. The options will be exactly the same. It's not like one website only sells certain names and the other one sells others. They all have access to the same ones, but they'll just charge different prices for the service. Service is the same. It will just be a difference in price, and Namecheap generally are cheaper. So I'm giving away all of these nuggets of knowledge and information here just through my decades of experience, because I'm just such a giving, generous guy. No, it's just I like to go off on tangents and talk a load of nonsense. But I digress. We are moving away from what we're trying to do here, which is to build a WordPress website. So once you have your domain name sorted, you can then add that to your hosting account. So when you come along to your websites, you will see that you do not have a website here, but you do have a domain name. Now, what you want to do is add the website that you've just bought. Now, what I'm going to do as a just for this tutorial is I'm going to be using my website rwonline.co.uk. In fact, let's go ahead and delete that for now, because we're going to use this as the website that I'll be building on in this tutorial. and that is now going to be deleted. So once you are ready to add your website, you can select Add Website. We are going to go with WordPress. Don't use the Hostinger, page builders or anything else. Just want plain old WordPress, and we're going to be using Elementor, which is a page builder that is literally the industry standard for building WordPress websites these days. You just don't get any better, and that is exactly what I teach in all of my courses. So again, just go ahead and create some WordPress login details. So it's going to be your website name, and then just give yourself a password. You're going to select Next. Now you can select one of these, but we're just going to create a blank website. Your domain name is going to be the one which, look at that. So it does say that I've got a free domain name. I'm sure they just keep giving me domain. I'm not sure why. Anyway, so the domain name, let's go with rwonline.co.uk. So it says, do you own this domain? Use it. Now, again, when you type in the domain that you've just bought, it's probably going to associate it to your Hostinger account anyway. So it says that you already do own this because it's in your Hostinger account. So you can go ahead and select that, and then we're going to install. So now we just have to wait a few minutes just for that to get everything set up, and then we'll be able to log into our first WordPress website. So once that WordPress website has been built and completed, it's going to redirect you to your new website. Congratulations, I'm giving you a thumbs up behind my screen right now. You have your first website live on the internet. You've ticked all of the boxes to get that live. You've got your hosting, you've got your domain name. So take a second to give yourself a pat on the back, because that is not a small feat. That is no small task. You have achieved something big today. So let's celebrate the wins here. So once that's all been done, we can then start designing and building the website. So what you are seeing right here, and what I want to quickly go through first of all, is the WordPress admin dashboard. So the admin dash, WordPress dashboard, the backend, lots of different names for this. Just in case you guys aren't familiar, the backend is what we are seeing right now, the back end of your website. The front end is what the visitors see. So your home page, your different pages, the header, your logos, the images on your website, all of that. That is the front end. What we see here is the back end. Nobody else sees this apart from you as the administrator. You are the admin of your WordPress website, and this is where you do all of your admin work. So let's just go through the side here. We've got some options on the left here, which again might seem a little daunting first of all, but trust me, when you start working with WordPress for a few weeks, this will all be like second nature. Knowing and navigating your way through the back end of your admin dashboard will just get easier and easier. I mean, I just know exactly where to go, exactly when I need it, and that will be the same for you as you continue working with WordPress. So let's just go through a few things that I just want to introduce you to first of all, and that is the settings here. So if we come along to the general settings, it's just going to show you a few settings about your website. So you've got the site title there, which is just the title of your site. You can put something in, you can put a tagline in, you can choose to have that displayed, you can choose to turn that off. So again, I'm not going to worry about any of those bits, I never do. But another important thing is your WordPress address. So this is the website, the domain name of your site. So if people want to visit your domain name, this is where they need to go to see the website that you've built. Now you've got the admin email address if you wanted to update that just there as well. Now we've got membership if we wanted people to be able to join, and we could then determine what they join as. So maybe a subscriber or something, but generally I would turn membership off unless you've got a reason to turn it on. So you wanted to build a membership site. Some shop owners, they also like to turn them on as well. But we've also got the last few options down the bottom here. Site language, time zone that you're in, the date format that you prefer, and the time format that you prefer, and the day of the week that the week starts on. Anyone that chooses anything other than Monday is just a weirdo in my eyes, but each their own. If you're a Sunday kind of guy or girl, that's absolutely fine, I guess. We'll let that one slide. Go ahead and select Save Changes once you've made any changes there. Now, there are a few more options that we'll be going through a little bit later in this tutorial, but for now, we are pretty set to go. We've got posts here if we wanted to add new blog posts. We've also got media where we can add media and we can use that around the different parts of our website. Pages is if we want to add a new page, for example, a home page, a contact page, a privacy policy page, a shop page, whatever you wanted, that generally goes in on a page, whereas posts are your blog posts. We've got comments. If people are leaving comments on your posts, then you can approve them just there, or bin them if they're just a load of nonsense, which a lot of the time they are. We got the appearance here where we can change our themes, and these options will actually change depending on which theme we're using, but I'll get more into themes as we move on. We've got plugins here. Plugins are what we can use that will add on additional functionality to our websites. So there are hundreds of thousands of plugins out there for WordPress, which is the reason that WordPress is as popular as it is today. It powers over 40% of the whole internet because it is such a large open source and user-friendly platform. People can create their own plugins, they can add that to the WordPress repositories, and people can then start downloading the different plugins to give their websites these different levels of functionalities. But again, we'll be getting into that. We've got users here. We've got users, for example, if you're a shop, you might have some customers. If you are a membership site, you might have some members. But again, we're not really going to be worrying about that because we're just going to be building a simple homepage in this tutorial. And we've got some tools there, which again, more than happy, go away, have a little look, play around, but you don't need to play with any of these as a beginner because they're just, we just don't need them. So with that all done, we can now start getting into adding our first plugins and adding a theme. So let's now start getting some plugins added, and we can also add a new theme as well. So let's come along to plugins here, and we can select installed plugins because there's going to be some rubbish ones that we do not want on here. So that the ones that you have on your website right now, you've got the AI, the onboarding, the tools, and Lightspeed Cache. Apart from the Lightspeed Cache, which is very, very good for speeding up your website. Again, I'm not going to be covering that in this tutorial. That's for speed optimization, which every website should have. Of course, I have courses on speed optimization. It is a foundation, it's a fundamental of any WordPress website if they want to rank on the search engines with improved user experience, stuff like that. So we do definitely want Lightspeed Cache, but let's go ahead and deactivate these other ones. Come up to bulk actions and then deactivate, and then we can hit apply. And then what we can do is we can select them again, and then this time bulk actions to delete. Apply, okay, and now they have gone forever. I mean, they haven't gone forever. I mean, you can re-download them at any time. So now we want to add a new plugin. So to add a new plugin, all we have to do is hit this button up here. Add a new plugin, and now we can start searching the WordPress plugin directory here. So let's say we want to, I don't know, if there was a particular type of functionality that you wanted on your website, you might want to just try and type it in and see if something comes up. But for the purpose of this tutorial, what we are going to be working with is a plugin called Elementor. So let's type in Elementor, and then that's going to show up this one just here. So Elementor is basically just going to allow us to build out our website and design it in a way that is really user-friendly. Now, it is one of the most powerful page builders on the internet. That's why it has over 10 million active installations. It's what I use for my business websites, for hundreds of my client websites, and another 10 million plus active users out there today. So clearly people like it. Let's go ahead and select install now. That's going to start installing. And once that has installed, we want to go away and not go away. We want to go ahead and select activate. So we hit activate, and that's going to activate it. Now it's going to ask us to connect. Now you guys likely do not have an account. I do have an account, a premium account, for my agency, so that I can build, all of the different websites that I do with Elementor. Now Elementor, just for full transparency, yes, it does have a premium side to it as well, but you can also use it completely for free. So I'm going to show you how to use it for free today, but I suggest if this is something that you take seriously, then do purchase the premium version. Again, I'm going to shamelessly plug in my affiliate link somewhere down in the description. If you did ever upgrade, it does me a great service to, if you guys can click that link, because I get paid a little bit for doing videos like this. But again, I'm not trying to shove these kinds of services down your throat, trying to force you to buy them, because yeah, it is, you know, if you need it, then get it. If you think it's going to serve you well, then do it. If not, then just carry on using the free version. So I'm going to go ahead and connect my account now. So connect my account. You guys just need to create your own account. I'm going to connect it. And once yours is all connected, then we're going to be able to start building out with Elementor. So once that is all connected and you've got your account set up, you can see that it's going to prompt you with a sort of onboarding. So every site starts with a theme. Absolutely right. Well done, guys. We do want to go ahead and continue with their suggested hello theme. So select continue with hello. And that is going to install the hello theme that we are going to be building this website with. So then it's going to ask if we want to elevate our website with the pro features. We're just going to skip that for now, unless of course you did want to do. If you do go ahead, please, you know, I have a link in the description. If you can use that, that would be great. Okay, welcome aboard. What's next? We want to skip this. We don't want to do anything. I bet it's going to redirect me to a page, which it always does. I don't know why it does that. So it's going to redirect me to a page here. Let's skip that. But we want to come out of this. We're not interested in building anything just yet. So we're going to come up and hit this icon up on the top left and exit to WordPress. Of course, we will be revisiting that page builder very soon, but for now we just need to take care of a few more things first. Let's go ahead and X out of that. And again, top left-hand side here, view pages. This is the WordPress blog editor. That's how we create pages and posts if we weren't using the Elementor page builder. So now we can see, coming back to our admin dashboard here, under pages and all pages, we've got some pages added. So what we want to do is go away and delete both of those. Let's come along, select the bulk actions and move to trash. We want to start from scratch here. So those are now being trashed. That's good. We just want to go ahead and get a couple more things set up and installed for plugins. So let's come back to plugins here and installed plugins. No, not install plugins. Let's come along to add new plugins. And then what we are looking for now is a plugin called Templately. And it's spelled not like that. T-E-M-P-L, Templately, like so. And it's going to look like this. So Templately this is what's going to allow us to import whole page layouts, whole website layouts even, but even right the way down to the different widgets and blocks and stuff that we could use to build the different parts of a page. But we're going to just be installing a whole template for our whole website to give us a great starting point so that we've got something to start off with. Because even though I've been building websites for over 12 years now, I still build websites using templates. I still like to import a template to draw some inspiration from. So, of course, you can build it completely from scratch, from the ground up, but of course it takes you more time. Now, I love to build websites, but funny enough, I'm actually not a very creative person. So that's something that I struggle with, but I draw inspiration from the templates from plugins like this and from different websites, because once I see a template, once I see a website, I'm very good at replicating something similar and making it my own. That's why I'm good at what I do. But let's go ahead and install and activate Templately next. So that is now installed. Let's go ahead and select activate. So that is good. Now, one last plugin that we need. Now, again, Templately is completely free. They do also have a paid version. If you've got the money, and if you do have the money, then it's worth it. But I have a lifetime subscription with Templately on unlimited websites. So I can literally build hundreds and hundreds of websites using Templately and import the whole websites in. So these are literally the full websites that we can use. You can see here all of the different pages, layouts, everything. We can import these in for free if we have a subscription. Now, of course, I'm not here to shove a subscription down your throat that you need to pay for. If you're interested, I've got a link in the description below. But it is well worth getting that lifetime unlimited, because you can literally use this on as many websites as you want. And it is just going to be, it's going to streamline that whole build process from start to finish, make it so much easier. Now, of course, you can see there are free ones, which is what we're going to be using today. But if you were interested in the pro, then of course you can take a look at that as well. So now that we've got Templately installed, there is one last plugin that we need. So let's come along to plugins. And again, we will be coming back to Templately, but that will be after this. So add new plugin. we are looking for essential add-ons, like so. And this is basically an add-on for Elementor. So we've got the essential add-ons for Elementor. Again, completely free plugin to use. They do have a pro version if you wanted to unlock even more widgets that you can use within the page builder. But again, not what we are doing in this lesson, in this tutorial. So let's go ahead and activate that. Once that is done, it's going to prompt us to get set up. Let's skip all of this. Let's leave this on as basic. That's fine. Let's leave them all as they are. Next, next, next. And then finish. Congratulations, well done, pat on the back. So next up, we want to go away and install a template. So a complete website template for us to use to start building off of. And that was the exact reason that we installed the Templately plugin. So let's go and check that out now. We're going to hit up that template library. We can see at the minute we are not logged in. Now I do have a paid account. It's great. I can use it on unlimited websites and stuff, but we are not going to be using a paid version. We're just going to be sticking with as much free stuff as we can. Of course, the hosting and domain we cannot avoid, but for everything else, we are building this completely for free. Now, what we want to do here is to ensure that the template we install isn't relying on any premium paid plugins. We can go ahead, and if we drop this down, in fact, we can see these are the paid versions. So Elementor Pro, Add-ons Pro, and LearnDash are the premium versions of those plugins. Now, if a template requires that, then of course it's not going to function correctly. So we can turn them off by hitting that once and then pressing that twice. And it will only now show us the website templates that do not rely on that. So only the free version. So let's go ahead and select filter. Now all of these, we can see these are all, we've got Pro and Starter. Let's just go ahead and select Starter here. And we can have a look down here and see all of the different starter websites we can use. So these are completely free. We don't have to pay a single penny for any of these, and these are full site imports. So I'm actually going to start working with this one over here today, which is a SaaS Byte, a landing page template. So it will be a single page website, but I'll also show you how that can be adapted to a multi-page website. So quite easy that. But again, this isn't a real in-depth. I mean, you're never going to learn WordPress in an hour. You're not going to learn and master WordPress in 4 hours. You know, this is why I have close to 100 hours of courses online teaching people how to build websites with WordPress. It's not going to happen for you in an hour, but it is just going to be a case of practicing, which is hopefully what this is going to inspire you guys to do. So let's go ahead and get this imported in. I'll show you how we do that. We're going to select it. If we wanted to take a look at it to see what it looked like, we can hover over it. We can see that it's only reliant on a plugin here called Essential Add-ons for Elementor, which if you remember, we've already installed. Let's go ahead and select that. We can see how this looks by selecting Live Demo. And we can see it looks like this. So a pretty neat website. It's got some animations there as well, which is pretty nifty. And again, this is completely free. We can use this and edit this and make this completely our own. So let's close that off. Let's go ahead and get this imported. So to import that, all we need to do is select Insert. So it's going to ask us now to sign up. Now, of course, you will need a free account to do this. I'm going to go ahead and get signed in with my paid account. You guys need to sign up with a free account, pop your email and create a password, and you are set to go. So once we are signed in, we can go ahead and insert this. Now, it's not actually this insert button. If we come back to library here, we want to insert the full site over here. So let's go ahead and select Insert Full Site. It's going to ask to give our website a title, so I'm just going to leave this blank. If you wanted to give this a title, that's absolutely fine. In fact, I'm just going to call this RW Online. Why not? Tagline, I'm going to leave blank. I don't really use taglines. Upload a logo. If we want to upload a logo, I'm just going to drop one in that I've already got here. Let's open up a new window, like so. Of course, it opened up on my other screen. Basically, what we want to do here is Planet WP. Now, what I will do is I will link to these files in the description if you wanted to use these. This is just some logo that I've makeshift made up using Canva. They just look like this. Very simple. Again, if you're just following along, you can use that. You can use these logos to get this website built. Let's select files here to upload. Downloads, Planet WP. I'm just going to upload the white one because that's all I'm going to be using here. That's all added. Select, and that has now been uploaded. We've got a logo width. I'm going to make that maybe 180-ish. I like things quite small. 180 like so. And then we can select next. So here we get to select the colors. So we can already completely customize the style and look of this website before we've even got it imported. So let's have a little play around with these. I'm going to change this primary color to a sort of bluish color, like maybe like so. And then the second one, I'm going to change it to another bluey color, like so. We can see that looks like that. So those are the two colors. In fact, I'm going to make one of those a little bit lighter. Let's change that down a little bit, like so. See how that looks. And again, you guys can play around with this, but I think that looks pretty neat. I like the colors. Looking good. Now, next one is text. As we can see, I'm going to leave that white. Next one is accent. I'm just going to change this again to a bluey color. Now, if you wanted to see where it changes, we can have a little look on the website. We can see, I think it's that, isn't it? So if we change that, yeah. So it's just the selected page or part of the page that we're on, because this isn't going to be a menu that takes you to a second page. It will just be dropping you down to the part of this page that is relevant. So that is the part of the page that we are on. I'm going to leave that accent color, this purpley color. Next one is background. Now I'm just going to make this still blue, but a darker blue, maybe something like that. I think that looks a lot more neater, a lot more professional. Next one is heading. I'm going to leave that white. Secondary background and dark background. So dark background, let's make that dark. Maybe something, in fact, let's maybe make that a little bit purpley, like that. Now again, if you wanted to go down and have a look, see where it is, there we go. I think that will be the one. Yes, it is. So again, oh, now it's changed to red. Let's go ahead. I'm going to make that a little bit of a purple color. Like so. I think that looks okay. And then we've got the secondary background. So again, where is that secondary background coming from? Or what is that going to style, should I say? Maybe this bit? No. Okay, this was that first one, that dark background. In fact, I might make that a little bit darker. Let's take a little look. What looks best? Let's go with maybe something like that. I think that looks cool. And then this other one, I'm just going to leave that as it is. We can always change these, so don't worry about these being set in stone. They are by no means set in stone. We can change these at any point, but the colours there are already looking a lot nicer. I really like those. Next up, we've got a little bit of typography we can start changing. So this is the fonts. So the system font, we've got primary, secondary, text, and accent. We can change these to what we like. I'm just going to be working with a typeface called Montserrat. It's one of my favorites, Montserrat, like so. I'm going to select that. I'm going to leave the size and everything as it is. We can play around with that after, that's no problem. Same with the secondary. Let's change that to Montserrat, like so. Text, let's change that. In fact, the text I'm going to change to pop-ins. Pop-ins, let's make that 16, that's good. And the accent, I'm going to leave that blank because I don't think there will be any well, I mean, it's a single page website. If you wanted to use a different type of typography that you wanted to use as, yeah, you can choose as and when to use it, then you can select that, no problem. But I'm not going to bother with an accent. I'm going to look at the headings though. We got H1s through to H6s. These are headings in terms of importance. So H1s are generally the biggest. So the one at the top of the page, followed by H2s to sort of, you know, create the sort of subtitles, down to H3s and H4s, etc., that just generally get smaller and smaller. But I'm going to just leave them as they are, and we can tweak these as we are building this out. Custom, I'm going to leave that empty. We've got a button font here, but again, we'll play with that afterwards as well. But for now, let's go ahead and just get this all imported in. So it's going to import everything, including all of the images and everything else. So let's select import, install. We can see that it's asking us for Fluent Forms and Notification X. These are free plugins. We do not have to pay for these. So they're just going to install this as part of this import. Let's select install and import, and it's going to go through this and start getting everything ready. So I'm just going to pause this video whilst that is all being imported, and whilst yours is being imported, and we can meet back up here and can continue editing and styling the website exactly as we want. So now that the website has been imported, we can see that we can now go straight to visiting our website. So let's go ahead and click that actually, so we can see what the website looks now with that imported site. And we can see it is looking pretty nifty. So this is already a website on your domain name. So you've got your domain name, you've got your hosting, you've now got this website live on the internet. And it's got these nice cool animations that sort of come in as we scroll down to them, which look really nice. We've got a footer down the bottom, we've got the main content here, and we've got a little header up the top with a menu. Now, of course, this is just a single page website. So if we click on blog, it's going to take us down to what I guess would have been a blog. Now, of course, we're not going to be able to build a blog because we can build a blog, but we're going to be very limited with the design capabilities of that single page template. So actually creating the design for our blog posts, because we've not got the paid version of Elementor. That is the whole idea with the paid version. It opens up all of the extra widgets and it allows us to start building out the theme with the Elementor theme builder. Now, I'm not going to go into details about that, but just know that we've got this whole world of options open up if we wanted to go for the paid version. Now, I've also got a contact part of the menu here, and again it takes us down to something that I guess would have been a contact or could be a contact. So we can see it's by no means a completed website. We've got to obviously change the menu here. If we're going to keep this as a single page, then we would want these to link to different parts of this page. So we can tweak that and change that, no problem. And of course, stuff like the buttons and the typographies and the typographies and stuff we can play around with. We've already set most of those global defaults in that last bit. But as for the actual text that we have here, you're going to learn zero from me if I'm just tweaking and changing the text. So I'll show you guys how you can change that, and then you can change it to whatever you want. Of course, we need to change these buttons. We've got these nice little animations, but still not quite right. It's got a purpley background, which I don't know why. Of course, they're not linking to anything either. If we click it, nothing happens. So again, I'll show you how we can change the buttons to actually link to different pages or to different sections or anything like that. So at least we have a good starting point. So we've got that done so far. So all that is really left to do now is to tweak this design from the Elementor page builder. So to do that, let's come back to the back end of our website. Now, if you remember the pages that we are building, so this is a landing page, but it is also our home page. We're going to find that under our pages. So let's go to all pages. And we can see that we've got this front page here. For some reason, I've got two. I'm going to go ahead and delete the second one. But we can see that we've got this one here, which says front page and Elementor. So we know that that is the front page as well. So our home page. So when we literally go to just the home of our website, it is going to be that page that opens up. So next up, we want to open this up in Elementor. So next up, we want to open this up with Elementor. So we're going to select Edit with Elementor. So that will open up the page with the page builder. And then I can give you a quick introduction to what this page builder looks like, how we use it, and how we get the most from it. So of course, I'm not going to be able to spend hours and hours and hours on this. Of course, if you want to become proficient at it, you do need to put in the time to work with this. So, I mean, that is why I have 4 or 5 different WordPress and Elementor courses, close to 100 hours worth of content. So, by the time you've put in the hours, you become very proficient at it. But of course, for now, it might look a little bit daunting, but just know it gets easier and you start to notice common patterns with, what things should look like and everything else, the more that you spend time on this. So let's just give you a quick introduction to this page builder right now. So we can see as we are moving around this, we've got all of these different things that are opening up to us. So we can click on all of these different parts, all of these different elements, all of these different containers and columns and sections and images. And as we do that, you can see that this panel on the left-hand side changes. So for this left-hand panel, as we click on different elements, it always opens up the same 3 tabs. So we've got a content tab where we can start changing the content of that element. We've got the style tab where we can style that element. And then we've got the advanced tab where we can start adding stuff like margin and padding. We can start changing a few other advanced settings as well. Now, we're not going to have the ability to change every setting because some of them we can only do from the pro version, but again, we've got more than enough tools here to play around with to get a half decent website up and live on the internet. So we can see that this page has been broken down into what looks like different sections, and that is exactly what we have. So we can see on this right hand panel here we have a navigator. This is like a hierarchy of everything on our page. So this is how things are nested. So for example, if we click on this top level section here, we can see we come down and we have a column. Within that column, we have an image and a heading. And we also have an inner section. And inside of that inner section, we have a column. And you can start to see how things are all nested. So we can see inside of each of these columns, we've got a info box. So that is how we kind of build out the layout of our websites. Now, one thing to point out is at the minute this website or this page is using what we call sections. Now this is a bit of an outdated building block. So those were the previous building blocks for Elementor. But recently, or I say recently, it's been well over 1.5, 2 years now, or yeah, 1.5 years, let's say, where these have been replaced with something called containers. Containers are very similar in their nature, but also very different in how we style them. We have a lot more control, a lot more granular control over the design and layout. And I'll give you a quick introduction to how that looks as well. So basically what we could do is convert each of these sections to a container, just so that we are working with the new building blocks of Elementor. So if we click on this top one here, we can see under the layout option, we've got the option here to convert it. So I'm going to just convert 1 or 2 of these. I'm not going to do all of them. I'm going to convert that, and we can see that we've got the same section, only this time has been converted to a container. Now there is very, very little difference, and that is exactly what we would expect because they are similar, but it is just in terms of how we style the containers, how we design that layout, because we've got stuff like direction, justify content and align items, which helps us to align the elements within that container horizontally and vertically in that space. And the direction is basically just changing the direction of flow. So if we have a container with a direction of vertical, everything that we drop inside that container will be stacked on top of one another. If we change it to horizontal, things will be laid out horizontally. And that is the idea of the direction. And then within the directions, we can then choose to justify the contents horizontally with space between, with space around, with all at the start, at the beginning, and then the align items, which is the vertical alignment at the start, at the center, at the bottom, or stretch from the whole top to bottom. So again, I could spend hours talking about this, but really you guys just want to play around with these different settings, see what each of them do, but just know that each container that is nested within another container has that whole option of layout styling, again with the directions, with the content, with the align items, the vertical and horizontal alignments. So within each container, we need to style those again, and those will only be applied to the elements or containers that are within that container that we are styling those options to. So for example, this container just here, we can see over here, it has a heading, and a button. Now this has, as if you can tell, is being aligned vertically. So if we were to change that to horizontal, we can see this moves in a different direction. And that is exactly what you would expect. Of course, there's not enough space in there for it just yet, so we're going to leave that vertical. But we can also start changing the things the layout on the vertical axis. So if we move it to the end, it does that, to the center like that, to the start like that, space around, space between. We can see we can get really granular with how this looks. I'm going to leave that as the start. And again, if this was a wider space, we could also align these items in the center at the start, or we could stretch it the whole way. I'm going to run this from the start, just like so. So again, that is kind of the general idea of how we work with containers. And although we have sections here, I still wanted to show you how to build out with containers. Now, of course, we've got a duplicate section here, which we don't need because we've got that now as a container. I'm going to delete that. I'm just going to keep the one container, but what I would encourage everybody to do right now is to go through this and just tweak all of these sections, convert them to containers, and then play around with the settings to get them looking exactly as they should. Now, just as an example, I'm going to do one more with you. So this container, I'm going to convert that. So let's go ahead and delete the section because we've now got the container. So this is the container, and we can see it's not quite aligned correctly. So we can do that together now. And if you have a little think about what you might have to do, then, you know, you can play around and see what's going to make the changes that we need, because we can see at the minute, these columns here are not aligned in the center. So we can see this is aligned in the center, but we haven't got these columns below it aligned in the center. So that's probably something to do with the horizontal alignment. So we need to come to the container that is housing that, and then change the the horizontal alignment. So if we select this container, we can see that is what is housing those other ones, but it's that parent container. So is it this one here? It is indeed. So it's this one here. Sometimes I like to use the navigator, the structure over here, because it's easier. And we can see if we select that one, that pink line goes around everything. So basically, if we're looking at that, it looks like we just need to align those horizontally in the center. So if we change that to center, and bingo, we get that looking as it should. So that is again how we're going to be getting things all aligned up vertically and horizontally using containers by using this justify content and align items, as well as the direction. Now, of course, you might be wondering, why do we need all of this granular control? And that is going to be more, I say more, it's going to be super important for when we are building out responsive designs, because at the minute we're working on a desktop screen. If you look up the top here, these are the responsive modes, and we've got how things look on a tablet and how things look on a mobile. So basically, this becomes really important for responsive design because each element, each container, we can change the styling of it depending on the screen size. So with this mobile responsive mode selected, we are now styling everything as it would be for mobile only. And it will be different to how it looks on desktop. So we could actually have one section, so one container with one direction or one justify content for that screen size. And then as we drop down the different screen sizes, we can add different settings like relative to that screen size. So it will only pull those styling options when it drops down to that screen size. So again, it gives us the granular control that we need to be able to build the types of websites that respond differently and accordingly to the screen size of the user's device. So whether they're using a desktop, whether they're on their iPad, or if they're just on their phone, you know, it's going to respond accordingly to our designs that we create like this. So again, you have to think about how this is going to look not only on a desktop, because once we've designed this as a desktop web page, you then need to go down and make sure it looks great on a tablet as well. You then need to make sure it looks great on a mobile, because if you don't do that, those users that visit your website on those devices, they're going to see a website that looks a load of rubbish. So again, that is exactly what you have to do. That is the requirements, the prerequisites of a good website. So get comfortable with it, and you're only going to get comfortable with it by practicing and playing around with it. Putting in the hours, preferably 100 hours of my training courses. Shameless plug right there. I'm joking. You do not have to take 100 hours of my courses. But let's move on with the actual design of this page so that we can get things all finished and looking a lot better than it currently is, or at least a lot more functional, because at the minute none of the buttons work, none of the menus really working. So we can take a look at that now. So if you guys are enjoying this tutorial and you want to know more, you want to know all of the small little details I might have skipped over in this tutorial, you want to build a complete blog, multi-page from start to finish in 17 hours, then you can hit the link somewhere on the top right hand side here, be taken to a video where you'll get completely free access from the link in that description. Now, full transparency, I'm only giving away this course, which I would normally sell for £129 and have taught over 10,000 students worldwide with it. I'm only giving it away for free because if you enjoy what you learn and you enjoy the way that I teach this course, then you might go on to purchase one of my premium advanced courses. Now, if you're happy handing over an email address to get full access to that course completely for free, if you don't want to go on and purchase anything after that, that is absolutely fine. That is your prerogative. You do not have to pay or purchase a single thing. You can still access it completely for free. But if you enjoy the way that I teach and you enjoy what you learn and you want to go on and master this skill so you can build any type of website, then you might get a lot from those advanced courses that I might sell to you later down the line. If that's okay with you and that's something that you would like to get on board with and start today, then head over there right now, head to the description, hit the link, and I will see you in that course. So first thing that I want to take a look at is the buttons. So the buttons, we can leave them as they are, but what I want to show you is how we can build out a custom default button. So just as we set those, if you remember the colors and the typographies, so if we wanted to add any color to anything now, if we select any item, any element here, let's say this heading, if we come to the styling tab, we can choose the global settings that we've set. So at the minute we've set the global colors and we've set the global typographies. If we've got typography here, this little globe here is the globals. So we can select that and choose any of those settings that we've already pre-styled. So we can go ahead and change any of those pre-styled settings at any time, and it will be applied to any widget or any element on your page that has been styled with that global default. So if we were to set that as H1 and all of the other ones across this page with H1, instead of having to come to each one, if we wanted to make a change of typography and change them individually, there, all we have to do is to come into our global settings, which is up here under site settings, and we can change it one time and it will be applied to everything. So our global fonts, which is just here, we have all of the H1s. If you wanted to change the H1s, just make one change from here and it is going to be applied to everything. And that is exactly how you want to build websites as a professional, coming from someone that's been building websites as a freelance WordPress developer for over 12 years now. That is exactly how you want to be building yours as well. So the same with the colors. We use global colors because if we want to ever make a change, we can come to our site settings, make one change, and it is applied to every element on our website that is styled using that global color. So that is the importance, the real the beauty of using these global settings. So that's exactly what we want to do. And as we use those global settings and global fonts, I also want to show you how we can set up a global button. For some reason I clicked out there. And we can do that by using this buttons one. So let's go ahead and select buttons. Now the typography, I'm just going to select, do we have a button? We do have a button font. I'm going to select that. And then for everything else, I'm going to just get this all styled now. So follow along with me if you wanted to get it the same as me. But the text color, I'm going to change that to text, which is white. So again, you'll notice that is the global default. The background type, we've got an option of classic or gradient. I'm going to use a gradient here. I like gradient buttons. We've already got a gradient there. So let's go ahead and select those same colors. So the global primary color will be the first color and the global secondary will be the second. Now we've got the location there. If we wanted, I'm making these changes, hoping to see the changes on this button. I've just realized this isn't styled with the global defaults. So I'm going to go ahead and save these changes, and I'm going to just drop a button in first. I'm going to come out of the site settings. What I'm going to do is just select the plus, drag a button in there. I'm going to delete this one because we're not going to be using them. We're going to use this one. And then this button, I'm just going to get all set up with the global. So this is the typography. I'm going to just make that default. Text colors, the colors is going to be, yeah, that's fine. Anyway, with that all set, at least we've got a default button there. Let's come back into our site settings. Let's come back into our button. And now we can start playing around with this. So if we change the location, basically the location is just how much solid is going to be seen. So I like to move them over to the opposite side. So it is 100% graded. So we'd get that nice clean gradient. And then we've got the angle of that. Now I'm going to make that something like 160. So it's going from one corner up the top to the other corner down the bottom. Play around with that if you want. And again, you'll see me make these changes. And if you don't 100% understand what it is that it's applying to or what it's doing, I encourage you, in fact, I want you to go away and play around with this. Move things around, change things, see what they do, because that is the only way you're going to get better. So that is the normal styling of that button now taken care of. If we come to style, I'm going to leave everything else as it is, so it will use the same settings here. In fact, we'll change that to gradient. So we hover over. I say that it's not being applied. Let's change that text color to white. Let's change that background to, that's fine. Hover, let's change gradient. Okay, so the color is going to be primary. The secondary is going to be secondary. We can see as we hover over that, that changes slightly, and that is because we've got a slightly different angle on that. So this angle is 180. I actually quite like that, so I'm going to leave that as it is. And I'm also going to, well, in fact, we'll add the animations to that button outside of the site settings. We can't actually style that in the site settings here. But for the most part, that is now looking good. I'm going to select Save Changes. I'm going to come out of site settings by hitting the X. Last thing that we want to do is just to add a bit of an animation to that. So if we select the button now from the page builder, if we select on that hover state, so when we hover over it, this is how it's going to behave. And we can see there is a hover animation. I like to use grow, so it kind of grows in its place as we hover over it. So I like that. And the only other thing left to do is to change the typography to button font. Now I quite like that. What I will do is just style the global setting of that button font, because so we only have to make one change. We're going to come back into site settings, global fonts, all the way down to button font. Let's make this Montserrat. Let's make this 18. Let's add a little bit more weight so that there's more weight to the text. That is uppercase, that's what we want. I'm going to also make that letter spacing so there's more space between it, maybe a 1.5. And I'm going to select Save Changes. Let's come back out of that again. And now if we come back to the top where that button is, we should see that it is styled differently. So that is it, yeah. We've got this bolder font, which is nicer. So I like that button. That is exactly as I want. So at least now we've got the styling of that button done. And every single time we want to use a new button, we just drag one in there and it's already going to be styled as we want. Only thing that we have to change is that typography to a button font, and we've got these uniform buttons again and again. So it makes it really easy to build the websites, build your websites by using these global defaults. So really, really important that you get comfortable doing that. But in terms of actually changing where this button is going to take someone to and everything, that is all determined under this content tab. So we've got the text here for this. So this might be a button that takes us to an about page, about me, let's say. And then we would need to link to that page. So let's just say we were building a multi-page website. Let's say that we had 3 or 4 different pages and we want to add those pages now. If we come up to this top right left corner, top right left, that definitely doesn't make sense. The top left corner, and I'm going to right click on Exit to WordPress and open in a new tab. I'm going to close that front end down. Let's come to that tab. I'm going to select the WordPress icon up in the top right left. In the top left corner, and then under the pages here, we're just going to add a new page. So let's go ahead now and just create a blank page. So about, let's say, could be an about me, and publish, and then publish. So now we've got a link for that URL, which is, let's have a look. It is just your domain name with the about. So we can copy that now. We can come into here and we can paste that into the link like so. So now every time that you click on that About Me button, it's going to take us to this About page. Of course, you need to go away and create that About page now. So you need to maybe drop in a different template into that page and then start styling and designing the contents of that page, because at the minute it's going to just link to an empty page. But at least you now know how to link to different pages of your website. If we wanted to link to a section of this page, then we need to use what is called anchors. And to use what is called an anchor, I'm hoping this is in the free version. I'm going to search for the widgets here. We got anchor. A menu anchor, exactly. So this is a free widget to use. Let's say that we had an About Me section. So I can take this menu anchor, I can drop this into, I wanted to get it into a top, into the bit above that. So into, oh, where are you going? Into there, that's okay. So just drop that roughly where you wanted that button text to take you to. And now it says under here, under the contents of this menu anchor, the ID of the menu anchor. So let's just say this was an about bit. What you could do is just literally write the word about, or about-me. So again, make up whatever you want. This can be anything, and this is for linking to different parts of your page rather than different pages. And what we need to do is then come up to the button we want to link that to. And instead of having a link to the URL, what we're going to use is this number, I don't even know what is the hashtag. I was trying to think of the name of the actual icon then. So hashtag, and then because that is what we use to select that menu anchor, and then we're just going to do the About Me. So that was the exact same text that we use on that menu icon. So if we were to publish this website now, and if we wanted to take a look at it, let's preview changes by clicking that little I button. If we select About Me, it now takes us exactly to the section where that menu anchor is. So that is basically how we can create a menu there that directs us to the different parts of the page. So if we have an about bit, we could literally link using that About Me selector with the hashtag, and we could do the same with all of the different parts of that menu as well. So now you know not only how to link to different pages of the website, but how to link to different parts of that same page. So we could quite literally just create 3 or 4 different menu anchors, give them a different ID, and then link to that ID using a hashtag as a link within the buttons. So you're already learning so much, which is fantastic, but let's just get back to finishing the design of this page. Now, I'm not going to bore you with all of the different bits. You now know how to create buttons, so you can go ahead, delete these buttons and just drop in the global default that we have just built. So we can just literally come along and drop in the buttons, change all of those, link them, style them, change the text of the buttons, get them looking exactly as you want. If you want to change the pictures here, come along to the picture. You can drag and drop different pictures into there and use different pictures. You know, play around with it. This is for you to get comfortable with this, and you're only going to get more comfortable by playing around. So that is basically, in a nutshell, how we use the page builder. And you will very, very quickly realize as you start using this more and more often, all of the different elements, so the different widgets, I use widgets and elements interchangeably, all of these different widgets or elements that we have here to use, you will very quickly realize that a lot of the options that we have for each of them are very similar, and a lot of them are actually quite intuitive. So as you click on different ones here, you've always got content, style, and advanced. And then as we click on a different element, we've still got content, style, and advanced. Now, of course, the content tab, some of the things change. So for example, this accordion, if we wanted to change the accordion here, we could come to settings. We could select on each of these ones. So we've got why choose us, which is this one here. And then we've got the content of that. Let's just go ahead and close that navigator. If we want to open it back up again, we can select that. But let's just open this up. So if you wanted to edit any of this, we can do that straight from the actual content sections of this. So why choose me. So if we make that one change, it changes it there. So again, I provide the most user-friendly service. And again, all of those changes will be reflected straight away on the front end. So again, play around with these different elements, different widgets, look at the different settings that we've got that we can change and get comfortable with them. But for the most part, that is all we're going to cover in this homepage part. I'm going to go ahead and publish this. We still need to build out the heading here, which is this part with the menu and the footer down here. So what we're going to do once that website has all been published is we're going to come out of this page builder and we're going to start doing this from a different place. So we actually style these from Templately. Again, the top left icon, the little WordPress icon. And this time we are coming to Templately. Now, this is actually a really powerful feature from Templately because it has a theme builder here. Now, the theme builder allows us to add different elements, some different templates almost that we can use around our website that would otherwise have been restricted to the paid version of Elementor, because Elementor, they also have their theme builder. If we take a quick look, we can see we can build out headers, footers, single pages, products, everything else that we might need as a template. And if you're not familiar with what templates are within WordPress, then don't worry too much. It is, it's basically what determines the styling and everything of those types of pages, which generally run off of a template that dictate the styling of those pages. But basically for, styling our single post pages, which is our blog post pages and stuff, we would otherwise have to upgrade to the paid version. But with this one, we can actually build stuff like headers and everything else using this Templately theme builder. So we can see underneath this, underneath the templates here, that we have the header and the footer, which is what is being used within the within our landing page here, the home page. So to edit those, just as we did before, we want to come to edit with Elementor. So let's hit that. So this is the header. And we can see here that we've got this one section up here. Of course, if we wanted to convert that, we can. But what I want to do is to just delete this and start from scratch. So I'm going to just delete that and I'm going to select this plus here. We're going to go with Flexbox and I'm going to go with horizontal. So now that we have this first container here, let's go ahead and just drop a couple of containers in there. First one's going to be for my logo and the second one is going to be for my menu. So let's duplicate that. So because we've gone horizontal with that direction, you notice that we've got two horizontal to one another. Makes sense. Let's go ahead and drop those elements that we want in there. So for this one, I'm going to drop an image into the first one. And the second one, we're going to look for a menu. Let's type in menu. And we've got the, where are we? Simple menu. These are all locked. Let's go with, in fact, I mean, we could, let's just drop in a simple menu. That's fine. So we've got the simple menu just like so. Now, of course, you do also have the menu that you can use within Elementor, but that is a paid widget, a premium widget. We do need the Pro subscription. So again, another great thing about using the essential add-ons is we've actually got a menu here that we can create different menus for and use across different parts of our website. So really, really powerful if you're trying to build websites for free. So first up, we want to go ahead and add in our logo. So let's do that now. We're going to come to this image. We want to select the image. Now I've already got the image attached here, which I will attach as the description, which I will attach to a link that I will add in the description. So you guys already have that. So just drag and drop that in. You can use that. I'm going to select it. I'm going to press select and we can see that it has been added. So that's good. I'm going to just change the size of this one to a medium large, something like that. Then under the style tab, let's go with a left alignment. And then the width I'm going to set to a pixel width, maybe something like 200, 210. Let's have a look. 213. I'm going to go with 200. 200 is good. I'm happy with 200. Now, if you want this to link to your home page, which most of the time, if you think about it, logos do link to the home page. So I'm just going to set that link to custom URL. That custom URL, I just want that to be the home page. So let's just copy that home page and paste that in like so. So whenever someone clicks on that, then that gets taken to their home page. So that is the logo taken care of. Now, one thing I do want to do, I just want to change the width of these two containers. So we've got this container and this container. So I'm going to just change this one to maybe 75, so yeah, 75% maybe. In fact, go even less than that. Why not? Let's go 50%. And so the other container will take up the remaining space, and that is exactly what we want. So that is good. That one is taking up 100% of the space available. So now we can start styling this menu, this simple menu. So to do that, we first need to select the actual menu option. So if you guys aren't familiar with building menus, we can actually do that now. So to do that, I'm going to come out and right click, exit to WordPress. That's going to open up a new window. Let's hit that WordPress icon. And to create or edit our menus, we do that from our appearance. So let's come to appearance and let's come to menus. And then what we actually have here is the menus that was imported from the template that we set up. So if we wanted to, in fact, create a new menu, and I'll do that now, I'll show you exactly how to do that. So we're just going to select this create a new menu. And again, this is going to determine what those links at the top of your page in that menu, where those are going to take you to. So it's a single page website linking to different anchors on that page as we went through previously. Then you need to add what is called a custom link with that selector selected. So for example, if you can remember the about me section, we had the hashtag about-me. Let's just first give this menu a name. So this is going to be the header menu, like so. Create menu, and now we can start adding stuff to it. So we can see on this left hand side we've got different options. So if we wanted to view all pages, we could add our about page. So that is going to automatically link to our about page. But let's just say, for example, we wanted to also add in some links to different parts of this single page. We can come along to the custom links. We can just literally link to that hashtag that we created in that anchor link. If you remember, it was hashtag about-me, like so, and then select add to menu. Sorry, that's not the link text. That's going to be the URL, and this is going to be about, let's say. So we could also add something like that. So just to show you what this looks like, let's hit that save menu. We're going to come to the front end of our website. You guys don't need to follow along here. I'm just going to refresh. Now, of course, we haven't finished our menu. That's not quite displaying correct. Let's just set up a new, let's open up a new page like this. Let's have a look. So we've got our, and it's still not quite exactly the same. Oh, it's because I haven't selected that menu. What an idiot. Anyway, coming back to the menu, coming back to our header where we're styling this, let's just click on this pencil here and we can select which menu we want this to use. So in fact, let's publish this. I need to refresh this page because we've since just added that new menu. So refresh the page builder, come along to this simple menu here, and I'm going to select the header menu, which is just the about and the about. So with that done, we can hit publish, refresh the front end. Let's come to the top. So now we've got an about. If we click on that, it takes us to our about URL. If we come back, and then if we select the other about, it takes us down to that about where we had that anchor tag. So again, you can see how we can use different parts of our menus depending on what we want to do. If you have a multi-page website, you're going to be linking to different pages. If you want to link to different pages, you need to first create those pages. So you'd come to add new page. Let's say that you wanted a contact page, which of course you would have to build. You would need to go away and design this. So let's say that we've now got a contact page. Let's come back to WordPress, add one more page. Let's go with services. If I can spell correctly, I've not had enough coffee this morning. Let's hit publish and publish. Now if we come back to our menu, we can come to appearance and then menus, select the same menu that we was working on before, which is the header one. We can see we've got the about at the about. One was the custom link to the anchor on our homepage. Let's remove that. Let's say under view all pages, we wanted to also add the contact and services. Let's add that. And now we can see that we've got these, which we can reorder. Now, if we nest them like that, it's going to become a sub-menu of that. So as you hover over about in the front end, let's just show you what that looks like. Let's save that. Now, this isn't what we want to do here, but just so that you can see what it does, if we select that, it opens up as services. So if we want to nest things, we can indent it like so. And you can nest and nest and nest things more and more and more, but that's not what we want to do here. We just want a simple menu about services and contact. Let's select save menu. Let's just go ahead and create one more menu here, create new, and I'm just going to put in a footer menu like so. Going to create the menu. Now for this we need to add a few more pages. If you think about the kinds of menus that you see in the footer, it is, let's come along to pages, add a new page. We're going to add in a privacy policy. Let's make that capitalized like so. Publish. And then we're going to add one more. Back to the WordPress, add new page. And now let's add a terms and conditions. Could be T&Cs, whatever you want to call it. Publish. But again, you get the idea. The idea here isn't to build a finished, polished website for you. It is to show you how you can go away and do this for yourself. So if there are other pages that you want to add into the footer, that you want to add into the header, then just come back to your menus and add those pages in. First create those pages and then add those pages to your menu. So come into menu now, we've got the footer menu. Let's come to view all pages. We want to just drop in the privacy policy terms and conditions, add to menu, voila. We now have these two in our footer menu. So that's the footer menu taken care of, and we have the header menu taken care of. This is now assuming that we have like a 4 or 5, even 6 page website now, right? We have the home page, contact, services, about, terms and conditions, privacy policy, 6 pages. So save that menu. I think I did already press that, but I'll do it just one more time just in case. So now we can come back to the page builder. I'm going to reload this because we've made some changes to that menu. We can see this is pulling the footer menu now, which is not what we want. So let's come to the simple menu. Let's change that menu to the header menu. And we now have about, services and contact. Fantastic. Let's play around with these different presets. We can see what these presets are. So if we wanted to choose a different preset, we can choose. I'm going to go with number 3. I'm going to go with horizontal. I don't want it vertical. If you want to play around with the hamburger, this is what happens when it comes down to a tablet or to a mobile like so. But we're just really getting this all set up for a desktop for now. So let's first take a look at this. The breakpoint, in fact, I'm going to change to tablet. So the breakpoint is even on a tablet, it's still going to use the normal menu because I don't think that we need a hamburger icon on a tablet screen size, but we definitely do on the mobile. So coming back to the desktop, we can now style this. So let's come to the style. So we've got background color there. I don't like any of them background colors, so let's just take that off. So we have completely transparent down there. That is what we want. Oh, keep pressing the wrong buttons. So top level menu, let's select that. We've got the typography here. Let's go along and select, yeah, primary is okay. If we wanted to increase the size, then we can, but I'm not going to. You got the text color there. Let's make that white or text like so. And then on hover, that text color, I'm just going to change to white, but maybe make it a bit of a bluey variant, something like that. So as we hover over, no, that's still hovering as the background. So we need to remove that background. But I think something like that will be okay. You'll see what I mean more when we remove that background. So at the minute it's got that background, which we don't like on hover. So we've got the background color there. Let's make that invisible again. So now when we hover, we see we just get that slight little color change from white to a grayish blue color, just enough to see that we are hovering over something there and we can click it. So I'm happy with that. That looks good. And then the same with the active. Let's go ahead and select that text color. In fact, let's grab that color that we used for hover. This is the hex color. I'm going to press Command and C. I'm going to come to active and just paste that color in down there. So when we select a page now, when we are on that page, it is going to use the same active color as the hover color. So you can see that there are also some options just here if we wanted to style the drop down. So we don't have a drop down, but if you did nest any of those different menu items together, you can customize what that drop down looks like as well. So the background and everything else. We don't have that, so that is absolutely fine. But you know what? There are a lot of different styling options here. Play around with them. I encourage you, I implore you to play around, make mistakes. And I just want to show you real quick, if you do make mistakes, come up to this top left hand corner and select history. You can then come back to any part of this build that you've been working on since your last save. Now, if you make a save, you can even come back to revisions and revert back to a different saved state at any point. So literally, you cannot mess it. Well, you can mess things up, but you can always go back to a previous version as it was before. So I encourage you, make mistakes, play around, mess things up. That is where you're going to learn. So let's just get this all finished off now. If we come back to this to this menu item over here, we just want to make sure this looks good on the other screen sizes as well. So tablet, we configured that hamburger to break only on mobile, so it's still going to stay as the normal menu, which is what we want. But then on mobile, we can see that it breaks over 2 lines. Now, I don't really like that, and if you remember how to change that, it's by changing the direction. So let's come to the parent container that houses both of the other 2 containers. Now, we can see that the direction is already horizontal, so you might be thinking, what on earth are we going to do to get these in line? And to do that, all we need to do is turn off wrap. By default, these will be wrapping and break onto their own line on a mobile screen size. We can use the no wrap option by selecting no wrap down here. Now, if we press no wrap, all of a sudden, like magic, they come side by side. So if we hover over that, you can see that this is within the container, they'll stay on a single line, no wrap, or break onto multiple lines with wrap. So by overriding the default wrap, we can select no wrap and they go side by side, just like so. Now, again, of course, you can style the sizing and everything else of both of those icons, or the logo and the hamburger icon. I'm not going to play around with that. You're not going to learn anything. I want you guys to play around with it and make mistakes, like I just said. So get them looking exactly as you want. But for me, I'm happy with that. That looks good. Coming to tablet, that also looks good, and to desktop also looks good. One thing I can notice is if you noticed as well, maybe it's just my keen eye, but the menu here is not sitting vertically aligned in the center. You can see this is starting at the top. So let's select the container that it is in and let's justify that content to the center. So you can see the difference there, it's just dropped down. So now it is in the center of that container. So I'm really happy with that. If we wanted to add any additional padding or margin, if we wanted that to be a bit bigger, we can do that. We could come down to the padding of the parent container, the top level container just there. We can come along and unselect the link values, and we could add padding to the top and we can add padding to the bottom like so. So however much padding that you wanted, just to give it that extra space. I think something like that looks good. I'm going to just make that even. That will go against my OCD if I was to have that anything than the exact same number. But for that, it's looking good. I'm happy. I'm going to hit publish and that is done. We are almost there, guys. Right, one last thing that we still have left to do, and that is the footer. So let's come out of this. Let's exit to WordPress. Select that WordPress icon. Hopefully you're getting a little bit more familiar with things now. So again, under the Templately theme builder, we are now working on the footer. So let's edit with Elementor, like so. So now we have our footer here. So we've got the subscribe for our update, stay up to date here. Now, of course, we would need to use a form to collect email addresses and stuff like that. That is a paid version of Elementor. But of course, there are also different plugins that we can use to achieve the exact same thing. So rather than using the Elementor form, if we come down here, we can see the form is locked. There is actually a plugin called Fluent Forms. And we've got that plugin hopefully already installed on your ones. If you haven't, you can go away and install it. But that should have been installed as part of the template import when we imported that whole template. So what we can do, in fact, I'm not going to drop that Fluent Forms in. I'm going to show you another trick now. But let's just first finish off the rest of this. So we've got the copyright powered by WP Developer. Again, if you wanted to change this, you can. I'm going to just change that to my name. If you've got that down the bottom right hand side here, let's just close that. We've got the menu. So this is, oh no, that's a heading actually. Let's delete that heading because we've now built that footer menu. If you remember, let's delete that. We're going to come along to the plus. Let's come along, just type menu in. So we've got the simple menu, drop that in like so. And then we can see that that is pulling the footer menu, which is exactly what we want. So one last trick I want to show you now. Well, no, I've still got a few more tricks to show you. But one thing that I do want to show you as well, we've got a list of things I'm queuing up to show you now. I'm going to right click and open this in a new tab. Come back to our previous header menu, edit with Elementor. Because what I want to do is copy the style of this. So if we come to this element, the simple menu, I'm going to copy that. So right click and copy. I'm going to come to the footer here and I'm going to right click and paste style. And like so, it just pastes that style in that we just had from the other section. So you don't have to keep restyling the same elements again and again. Just copy one element and then paste in the style. Important that you just paste style and not paste, because if you paste, it just copies the exact same thing again. You just want to paste the style. So again, for headers, again, for any text editors, just if you like the style of one, just copy it and paste just the style to all of the other elements across the page as well. Nice little trick there. Let's go ahead and just make these a little bit smaller. So if we're in the footer here, we could go ahead and make these this typography a bit smaller. Going to make this maybe a 12. 12 is okay. We can see that falls neatly in line with each other as well now. Now you will notice that we are actually building this with a section, which again, if you want to convert that into a container and do all of this in a container, then do. I encourage you to do it. It's good practice. I'm not going to do that here. I want you to figure this stuff out as well. You need to work for your website as well. I'm not here to do all of it for I'm not here to do all of it for you. God, I sound really mean. But no, that's not the idea here. The idea is for you to be introduced to WordPress Elementor so you can do this stuff for yourself. So this is already looking good. We've got some bits here that we can also add in links. So if you select these, add in the link to your Facebook. When you've got Twitter, add in the link to your Twitter. If you don't have that, then just delete it. You know, it doesn't make a difference. If you've just got Instagram and LinkedIn or whatever, then just have that. But again, play around with it. I'm sick and tired of hearing myself say that. Going to come up to the plus here. Now we're going to drop in that Fluent form. So if we type in form, we can see that we've got a free Fluent form that we can drop in. Let's drop that in. In fact, I did say I wanted to show you something, didn't I? So we actually haven't built a Fluent form here. You've got some built in as default. So these are what came with the import and you can access them. Let's come out of this WordPress. Again, you don't need to follow along here. Let's come back here. Under the Fluent forms, you've got here different forms that you can build out. Now, when we imported these, we had the subscription and the form demo. So I'm just going to use the subscription one. That's just going to give us at least this email address and subscribe so that we can at least start capturing some emails from our visitors. Now, again, if you wanted to make that a bit smaller, you could drop something like container in there. And then we can just move this form into the container like so. That's not going to go in, is it? Because, of course, because this isn't a container. I'm going to just convert it now. You guys might have already done that. Fair play. Well done. I'm going to delete that. So we just have this container. When we have just the container, we can drop that inside of that container. That is good. And to be fair, not too much change. We can see that this has gone stacked over the top of one another. We can see if we make that no wrap, it's still not going to work. That's because there's just not enough space in there for that. But what I would do is I would maybe just make this a little bit smaller. In fact, I might just, no. Yeah, let's just make this container a little bit smaller in terms of percentage, like so. Go with maybe a 65. And then there's enough space for this container to house both of those menu items without breaking onto their own lines, which is exactly what we want. So let's now come to this container that houses our Fluent form in. I'm just going to, again, make this a little bit smaller. I'm going to set this as a pixel width. Let's go with something like 770. and I just want to set that in the center. We do that center alignment by coming to the parent container and align items in the center, like so. Now I want to actually bring this down a little bit more to this bit, so I'm going to show you how we can do that because we haven't touched base on this yet. Within each container, you can see that there are these default gaps. Now we can change them under your layout site settings as the defaults, but they are by default configured to 20 pixels. I'm just going to uncheck them, and you can see that that scrunches everything up. Now, of course, a column is left to right, and a row is what is from top to bottom. So these are on different rows. So if we increase that row gap, naturally it increases that gap between every element within the parent container that we are setting this styling to. So we can set this as a that is applied to every element in that container, or if we just wanted to apply some padding or something to one section, we can also do that individually. So selecting the container, we can come up here, we could add some margin to the bottom, we could add some margin to the top, play around with it to get it all of the, so that the space in between each of the elements are exactly as we want. I'm going to stick with something maybe like so. I think that looks pretty nifty. And for the best part, I'm really happy with how that looks. So for this, I'm going to hit publish, and fingers crossed, when we come back and check our website, it is displaying exactly as we want. So let's come back to exit to WordPress. Let's come and select the WordPress icon. Let's visit our site now, and please, there we go. We have our new menu. Well, it is a new menu, but we have our new header there, and that looks really good. The rest of the website is looking good. I like it, I like it, I like it. Now, of course, you know, this isn't a completely finished website. The idea being you need to set it and design it as you want. But the idea is to show you how you can do that. So we've got the footer in there, which again looks really neat. Now we've got no links in those. We didn't add any links. We haven't built out these pages yet. So the terms and conditions page is empty. The privacy policy page is empty. Our about page is empty. So we need to go away and design those pages, and you would do that just by coming back to those pages, selecting about, selecting edit, and then editing with Elementor. That's then going to open up the page builder, and we can then start styling this page. If we wanted to start adding in templates, select Templately straight from within this bit here. Templately is built into your page builder now. So select Templately. If we're looking for pages, let's turn off them pro dependencies. Let's say that we are looking for, we can take a look, see what we have here. So this has got, this is a featured page. We don't like that one. Where was the one? Oh no, the one that we've got is a landing page, isn't it? Basically, you can come along here and you can select or insert any of these pages. So if you like any of these, just go ahead, select insert. I'm going to just select insert now. I think this is a pro one. That's because I'm connected to my pro Templately account. You won't be able to import this, but that is fine. You can import a different one. I'm not going to style this anyway. It's literally just to show you how you can import a page directly from the page builder within Elementor. So now we've got this all added in. Let's have a look, see how this looks. So we can see it's added in this page directly from Templately. And then, of course, it's not completely finished. We need to style everything, change the colors, change the text, change the layout, make it all our own. But you can see, for the most part, it is looking really good. So I'm really happy with how this website looks so far. It is by no means a finished project. If you were interested to learn more about how to build a website from start to finish, and a load of different websites, from blogs to membership sites to e-commerce to dynamic websites like portfolio sites, then you might want to check out my courses. All of my courses are on learn.rickywallace.co.uk. I'll link to those in the description if you wanted to check those out. But for the best part, this build is now all done. We've got our one landing page, which is what the primary objective of this whole video was to be able to build out our homepage. If we select the logo here, we can see the homepage, and it is looking really good. So I'm really happy with that. I hope you're really happy with that too. And that is going to bring this tutorial on WordPress and Elementor to an end. If you enjoyed this tutorial and want to nosedive even further into the world of WordPress and Elementor, you can get free access to my 17-hour course right now over in the next video. So head over there now. Thank you for watching this one, and I cannot wait to see you in the next.